Okay, before I get started, I want to apologize if this video doesn't look very good. If there's some type of jitteriness, or if the quality goes down or up, or if the images I put there look weird, I apologize ahead of time. For the last, I gotta make this as brief as possible because this is the fourth time I've done this and I'm extended it longer than 2 minutes. Okay, what it comes down to is that I got very frustrated on Friday. That's the reason why I didn't do my Impact Wrestling review. I'm very sorry. I've been so frustrated for Impact. I didn't get a chance to really watch this one. I didn't really see the last 2 weeks of NXT, mainly due to the fact that my editing software has been giving me major issues. I have OpenShot. That's an open source version. And I got the latest version, which is 2.4.2, and it's been driving me insane for the last 2 months. I've been trying to work with it compared to the one I used to use, which was a very old version. It crashed, but I could work with it. Things worked out pretty decently. But this one kept malfunctioning too much. And understand, I have a secondary channel. If no one knows this, I have a secondary channel with animation. It's right there if I'm actually able to get it right this time. And I'll leave a connection below. I don't normally do it, but I'm going to leave a connection below. You can take a look at it for yourself and you can say, oh, it's a piece of garbage. Oh, this is cool. But I'm trying to do animation while I'm doing wrestling. And that is a lot to do. You want to watch the shows so you know what's going on, but you also got to do the animation, which could take hours. And for the last 2 months, it's been frustrating. And it finally came to a head this Friday. I just said, enough. If I don't take a break, now I'm going to burn myself out for wrestling or this animation, because I've done it before with the animation because I tried too hard. So I had to take a break. So I'm really sorry. So this new editing software that I'm using is Kadium Live. It's a good piece of software. It's more complicated, so if this is glitchy or something's wrong, I'm sorry. I hope you'll be alright with it. What did we get for this SummerSlam? So I just took so long. Was this a good SummerSlam show? I had no interest in SummerSlam. I'm not going to lie. There's very little on the show I cared about. Almost no build for this SummerSlam. And what few things that were built were either not done very well, or it felt like it was forced, or in this situation with the one I cared about, which was Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston, I knew it was not going to close the show, which pissed me off on top of that. So I didn't really see much in this show. But was it good for what it was? Yes. I'm sure there will be several people going to say it's a great show. Some people will say it was a good show. Me personally, it was marginal. And I know people are going to say, are you crazy? You smoke. One guy there keeps saying I'm smoking crack. How would you know I'm smoking crack? You've been trying it yourself, son. Huh? I keep getting that from one subscriber. And I'm not trying to start a fight with him, honestly. As I said before, give me a reason why I'm wrong. Don't insult me and say I'm smoking freaking crack because of my opinion. Anyway, this show was marginal to me. But I'm sure to other people, they will like it. They would like it. And I would recommend at least several matches to be seen easily for this show. They will like the show. You will like the show. Maybe you might think of it as a B to a B plus show. Me, I consider it a C plus due to the fact that there was almost no build for the majority of the matches. And even though the matches were mainly good, does not take away from the fact that the WWE is not doing their job properly. We're supposed to have stories with these matches. You can't just have a mainstay show as SummerSlam having mediocre builds or no builds at all and just matches that in many cases the storylines are almost non-existent or nothing at all. Now, I didn't see much of the kickoff show, but what I did see was, that's the two I did see that I cared about. You got the Iconics going up against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, I didn't realize Nikki Cross and Alexa had won the titles from the Iconics. I didn't see the last Raw, so I don't know. So when it came down to it, seeing them have it, I said, whoa, they actually won it? They finally pulled the trigger and just let Alexa have something that will keep her busy for a while where they'll think it's relevant. And then you got the Iconics going back to obscurity again, because that's what they are. And I'm saying it clearly, they're both beautiful women. They're both good talkers. They both should be managers that should very rarely wrestle. So seeing them have no more title is the wisest thing to do. Do I want to see Alexa Bliss with the title with Nikki Cross? No. Honestly, I'd rather see the Kabuki Warriors with the titles. I'd rather see Fire and Desire with the titles. Because at least I know it's going to be a little more interesting with those two teams than Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross will do Moment of Bliss. And pretty much the Moment of Blissers actually won their match against the Iconics. They kept their titles. There you go. Now, you got Buddy Murphy finally on a pay-per-view. And you got, it's so sad to see Apollo Crews doing absolutely nothing. And this is what that match was. Nothing. Because it wasn't the fact that this could lead somewhere. Not for Apollo Crews. But it does seem to lead somewhere for possibly Buddy Murphy. Because I'm mispronouncing and saying it in an accent. Because once he got destroyed by a little bit of Rowan, the match was basically, it was a DQ because Rowan destroyed a Buddy Murphy who lost his Australian accent because he got run through by Rowan. He ran through him like he was a car running through a piece of paper. I don't know. This could lead to a feud between the two. It probably will lead to a feud, which will probably be very brief. But at least Buddy Murphy will get something. Now, opening up the show, Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Now, of course, since this was done, I think, Toronto, we're going to have a very hype crowd. They will be happy, particularly that their own people are on the show. Good. Most of the show, there was a lot of cheering, so I did enjoy how the crowd participation was. It wasn't a piece of garbage. It was pretty decent. Was this submission match good? Yes, it was. This actually was a pretty good submission match. And I'm not going to say it was garbage. It wasn't. You got a very good... The only thing is that the way they built up Natalya, you would expect it to be a little bit more than what it was. Not saying the match was bad, but the build was so brief. It feels incomplete. So when you get this match, you know it's good, but then it feels like there needs to be more. Because this match was thrown together with that feud, and it's so short. That's the problem. The storytelling is so short, brief, and it didn't seem to be done 100% right, that this just didn't feel like it was complete. Of course, you got Becky retaining. I didn't expect her to lose. But here's the problem. Now what? You have no other women on any of the rosters built to take them. Built for Becky, and I will get to her in a minute because I'm not going in order, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going for relevance. I'm just doing that. You got basically... It angers me to say this because Naomi is still on the roster. You got Ember Moon, who basically I'm going to talk about in a minute, which upsets me. I know you got Lana, you got Tamina, you got you Ruby Riott. I believe she's recovered. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me below if Ruby has recovered yet. But you got Sarah Logan, you got Liv Morgan. You got so many women you should be building up. And you got nothing for these women to do. You got 2 champions and 2 shows that have no rivals. And it shows. Now, you got Bayley versus Ember Moon. And here's the thing. I am so glad to see Ember getting her shine. But when you see her build, it angers the living stink out of me that you had her job to Natalya. Then you have her job to Bayley. When you gave her that one moment that she destroyed Bayley. But then you clearly made her job to Natalya, job to Bayley, even after you had her destroy the Queen and destroy Bayley weeks before. And it just shows here. It's not the point that the match was bad. It wasn't. The match was actually quite good. I enjoyed their interaction. You got to see a lot of Ember Moon that you normally don't see because the matches are so damn short. And admittedly, it felt like, at least during this time, what position was that in? That was 1, 2, 3. That was, I believe, the 6th match on the card. That was 6th position. And by then, the crowd was kind of cold. Of course, they tried to come back, but the crowd was kind of cold, and I didn't expect Ember to lose. And I didn't expect Ember to win. You know what I expected her? I expected her to job. And I know you're going to say, well, that's losing. There's a difference between winning, losing, and jobbing badly. Making her look bad. No matter how good the match is, by her having a bad build, you have this match, which is a good competitive match. In the end, Ember jobs. And if I remember correctly, she tapped out. Did she tap out? Let me see. Hang on a minute. I can't remember. I don't think she tapped, but if she did tap, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, no, she didn't tap. I do remember she did not tap out, but in the end, it just felt empty for Ember Moon because only thing she was there to be is an enhancement jobber. That's what Ember Moon was, an enhancement jobber. And that's what I've said. It doesn't matter if she won or lost. She's jobbing. And there's a difference between winning and losing and jobbing your ass off and making someone look incredibly good while you look like a piece of garbage. So my same thing as for Becky, Bayley has no one to work with. Unless it's going to be Charlotte, which I wouldn't be surprised. And let's get to Charlotte and to Trish Stratus. That was the 8th match on the card, I believe, for the main roster. Now, I know I'm going to get heat for this. I'm going to be honest here. I've always been honest about how I felt about Charlotte. And I know people say I'm out of my mind crazy, but I see Charlotte from the perspective of what she can do all around. And everyone says that she's incredible in the ring, but if you look at her track record with Alexa Bliss, who's not that great, and she could not make it look good in the match, to Asuka, who is much better than Charlotte and covered for any of her problems, to Becky, who is just as good as Charlotte or better and covers her problems, Sasha, same thing, Bayley, same thing. But then when you go to the women that do not know her, and I say this again, who don't know her, who's not an Asuka, who can adapt to anyone because she's been around the business way longer than Charlotte, a Bayley, a Sasha, a Becky, 3 women she worked in NXT with that know her well enough to cover for her problems. And then you see everyone else on the roster. Look what happened with her and Naomi. I say this again, and no one's ever said I'm wrong because it's true. They have one match. Naomi botched. Charlotte botched. And what happened after that? Naomi went from here to here, and they never wrestled together again. When Charlotte's with someone that doesn't work with her, she not only looks bad, you never see that person most of the time again, unless there's no option. So you got Trish Stratus, a legend, who honestly wasn't bad in the ring, but was not good. You can see ring rust. And when it came, it was sloppy, like I said. And I know people are not going to be happy about that, saying, come on, you got to be kidding me. Charlotte did great. No, she did not. She made a lot of the moves look heavily telegraphed. And you could see when it comes to Trish, she still had some ring rust. So she was not really fluid. It was heavily telegraphed how bad it was in the very beginning. It got better later. It did. The match began to flow a little bit better later to the end, and it flowed okay. They had a good match. It wasn't 100% trash. But I'm saying the truth here. As I said in the beginning of this match, you got to see it for what it is. Charlotte's not the best wrestler on the roster. Ember Moon is better than her. Becky is better than her. Bayley is better than her. Let's be honest, Sasha was a way better wrestler than she is. And that's due to the fact that almost every woman that I mentioned, including Asuka, have the ability to a certain extent to adjust their ring work to deal with anyone in the ring. That's the truth. Charlotte's a good wrestler, but she's not an adaptive wrestler. And that's what people don't get. Now, did Charlotte play her attitude correctly? Oh, yes, she did. She did a great job at pissing off the crowd, being a really nasty heel. And that really helped the match a lot for me personally. It's not just the ring work that makes a match great. It's the personality of both wrestlers and the story that goes with it. If you don't have a great story, which they didn't, you got to have the ring work and you're going to have the personality to try and compensate. And Charlotte's personality really came out very well. In the end, Charlotte won, as I didn't expect her to lose, particularly that when Trish tried to not pin her, but pretty much she got the figure 4 on Charlotte, and then she went into the figure 8 to try and get her to submit. Then after the rest of that match, Charlotte pretty much put the figure 8 on her, and that's how she won. And I'm fine with it. But I'm going to be honest here. I will be honest. I do not want to see Charlotte go up against another legend again. Not because I'm going to be upset seeing a legend lose to her. It's that I know there's a lot of people who love Charlotte, but let's be honest here. Charlotte is one of the few women they're pushing. You got more than 25 women on that roster. You got Asuka, you got Kylie Zane, you got Naomi, you got Tamina. I don't care what anybody says, she's a wrestler, shut your damn mouth up. You got Lana, you got Liv Morgan, you got Sarah Logan, you got Fire and Desire with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. You have so many women on the freaking roster and you're not using them. So when you see what happened with Becky and Bayley, they got no challengers. Since Ronda Rousey hasn't returned yet, either she is pregnant right now or still recovering from her hand being broken, you got nobody. There's no one to work with. So you see only Charlotte as the queen. The Charlotte is the best, not because she is the absolute best wrestler there. It's because she's the only one that's been willing to push. Because you got over 20 women you could do something with. Charlotte, and I said this before, Charlotte with Naomi. Why did Naomi get blackballed? It wasn't because she's just black. Because she did win the championship twice. Charlotte had a match with her. Both of them botched. And after that, they never been paired again. And Naomi disappeared to obscurity. Why? Because Charlotte can't work with her because she doesn't know her. Now, let's move on to AJ Styles versus Ricochet. A good match. It was a good match. But here's the problem. The story wasn't really there. Because we've seen this story and this match now 3 times. We've seen those two go up against each other 3 times. And instead of being something special, like Ricochet gets see it like this. They have the match, which was good. AJ wins, but he goes to Ricochet and he says, Ricochet looked like, if I'm correct, Black Panther. You tell me if I'm right. If he looked like Black Panther or if he looked like Nightwing. He looked like Black Panther to me personally. That's what he looked like. But essentially, after the match is over, you could have had AJ go to Ricochet and said, you got what I want. Join the OCs. Join the original club. We will dominate. Nothing. We didn't get that. We did get the OC at least getting a win under the belt. But does not mean it makes them better. But I'm hoping it will eventually. Now, we have the New Day. Rockstar Spud. It's in my face. What? What's that? And especially Xavier Woods going to beads now. He's wearing beads on his head. I don't know if that's permanent now or if that is just... It's in my face again. I don't know if that's permanent or not. But it was damn funny. Seeing with those sunglasses and those beads in his head with basic braided hair. But when it came, and I know I could have said this with the AJ and Ricochet match, and the match was very good. I'm not saying the match wasn't good. Hell, you got Ricochet running across Gallows and Anderson's shoulders to get to AJ outside the damn ring. It was damn good. But the beginning of that match was kind of ruined for me because you had... I'm not against R-Truth and Carmella with the 24/7 title. The 24/7 title off of WWE TV is fine. But when it's on WWE TV and it's taking away from a damn match that's supposed to mean something like the US title after Harley Race had died about 2 weeks ago, that was damn stupid. Why would you do that? And then you have Rockstar Spud, which was funny. I'm not going to lie, that wasn't part of the match. It was before the match happened. But still, come on, man. Let's move on. Shane versus... I gotta get this done. Shane versus... It's in my face. This was not about the match quality. Understand, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not against Kevin Owens. I'm not against Shane McMahon. It's not the match quality. It's the storytelling. Who cares that... It's in my face again. Why would they have Kevin Owens put his career on the line and nothing for Shane McMahon? Unless Shane McMahon is not going to be seen for the next couple of months, which I know he's not, this was a complete waste of time. And even with Elias as the special enforcer, it did not help this match. I didn't care about this match. Why am I going to care about a good match? Not saying it was bad. It was good enough to pass by. But it does not help that there's no damn cost, any type of gain. What does Kevin Owens gain? Oh, I can tell him that I beat him. Really? That means anything to the person you just said a few days ago that I know that if I asked you, you wouldn't have done it because you're McMahon. So why do you actually think he's going to care about that? Why? He's not. Shane is not going to give a damn. He's not going to care that you won over him. He'll always say whatever the hell he wants. He'll show on the Titantron what he wants. He'll do what the hell he wants. So what was the point of the damn match? It was a waste of time. Let's move on. Let's do this match. The match that I was interested in. One of the two matches I was honestly interested in. Finn Balor versus The Fiend. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. If Finn had not been annihilated, if he got a major amount of a defense in, an offense, he would mean nothing. And I'm talking about Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. So, taking away from the new music, which is well, it's not like a remix. It's more of a heavy metal mix of his old song. Because that's what it is. And with the lighting, with the mask, with his lantern that now has his own face on it, I'm not going to say it looked cool. It did. It looked great. But the one thing I stated for months now, since Bray Wyatt went to the Firefly Fun, I'm so angry, but I'm not. The Firefly Funhouse. If he had not killed Finn, you see I'm botching here. If he hadn't destroyed him, this would mean nothing. Now I'm sure you're going to say, oh, so you're going to say he didn't get destroyed. Well, guess what? He did get destroyed. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, and this is what scares me, even though he destroyed Finn with the mandible claw, he looked like he was going to do a Sister Abigail. No, he went to the mandible claw at the very well, you know what? Let's roll this back a little. When we had the match, Finn did get some defense in, some offense in, and he did knock Bray to the ground, but Bray jumped right back up, which he was supposed to. That's the one thing I'm worried about. If he didn't show that he was dominant, this was nothing. So he did. And I'm glad he did. In the end, he used the mandible claw on Finn Balor. He won, And then when the lighting started flickering and he disappeared, which I knew he had to because it had to be special, you had a close-up of Finn Balor. And this is what I'm worried about. Finn versus, well, not Finn versus the Demon. The Demon versus the Fiend eventually. And they do not keep things stable. The thing that got me is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm worried. He won his match. And I'm hoping that Raw, he will win. Or SmackDown, counting where actually he comes from. As far as I know, he's on Raw. But he could also go to SmackDown, which he has kind of done before. And when it comes down to it, the one thing I'm worried about is that, how can I explain this? Making sense. Look, we know the Demon's going up against the Fiend. It's going to happen. But in between that time, Bray must continue to win. Having one win does not mean anything unless you see a string of wins. And I'm hoping to go there, and it'll culminate in the Fiend destroying the Demon just like he destroyed Finn Balor. I'm worried that when we see this Raw, or the SmackDown for that matter, or the subsequent Raw SmackDown, we're eventually going to get the Demon. And the way the WWE books things, it makes me worried that they're going to screw over Bray Wyatt. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and maybe I'm being a little bit conservative. Maybe too conservative. But I'd rather be a little conservative and not put all my eggs in one basket like I did before with Bray Wyatt 4 different times. When it was Daniel Bryan, John Cena, The Shield, Randy Orton. Now you got him again going for another feud and now a total change. And we had something like that 4 times roughly where they tried to make him a little different, tried to make him special, and in the end it ruined. It failed. So I'm hoping this 5th iteration will work. I do want to see him succeed. Now, let's see, am I forgetting anything? Because I don't want to forget anything. What else am I forgetting? I think that's it. I only got 2 left. During the closing of the show, we have the match I didn't care about. Was it a good match? Yeah. But did I care about it? No. Seth versus... Look. Let's be honest here. Brock Lesnar has been on top for so long, he's boring. He gets the title back. But then you see Seth Rollins become boring on his own because he has no challengers except the Brock Lesnar. Because he's already gone through Shane McMahon. He went through Drew McIntyre. He went through Elias. He went through Baron Corbin for goodness sake. And luckily Baron Corbin wasn't seen on the show as far as I can tell. He wasn't there. So that's a good thing. But who is he going to go up against now? Because that was the main issue that we had Brock Lesnar come back in the first place. There's no one for him to work with. So when I saw this situation coming up, I really wasn't interested. I did not want to see Brock Lesnar versus the Kingslayer. I didn't care. I didn't want to see it. Now, was the match garbage? No. At one point, you got Brock Lesnar grabbing the tape that was wrapped around Seth's abdomen, and he was swinging around with it. I'm going to see if I can get that image because I wasn't able to grab it. But I'm going to see if I can get it. But legitimately, that was cool. Seeing that Seth did backflips out of the German suplexes, I think he did it twice, was cool. Look, you really... No, I have 3 matches. I'm sorry. I got 3 matches left, not 2. I almost forgot about Goldberg and the Dolph Ziggler. I'm sorry. And I think there's a reason why. You probably figured out. It was... Doesn't matter. Anyway... It was great work that both of them did. You can see when Seth jumped from the top turnbuckle onto a Brock Lesnar. But now that he won the damn title back, what now? It's still the same damn thing. He has no challengers. Unless you're going to turn him heel and go up against Roman Reigns. Which he's not going to because unless Seth was the one who did all that craziness, which we've been thinking is going to be Daniel Bryan. He has no challengers. It just feels like a waste of time. Now, second to last, you got Goldberg versus a, let's put this in perspective. Did I like the Goldberg versus Undertaker match? No. It was bad. Goldberg didn't even look like he wanted to follow what he normally should as a performer of professional wrestling. He didn't want to come in when his theme music hit. He didn't want to go into the right place where the sparklers and the fireworks were supposed to do it. He didn't want to act like he used to be, like he did fire breathing, which you would take in some of that smoke and breathe it like a fire breathing dragon. He just didn't want to do nothing at Super Showdown like he was supposed to do. So you fast forward here, where he wanted to make up for Super Showdown. That's what this all was about. To try and make him dominant again after he lost so much credibility looking like a piece of garbage in the damn ring. Dolph was a sacrificial lamb if you're going to go there in a Christian fashion. There was no match. Dolph pretty much got, how many spears did he get? Where is it? Dolph got maybe 5 spears through the entire thing. He got 2 spears in the very beginning. Then he finally got the jackhammer to win the first match, which it was just that. It wasn't even more than a minute and a half. They looked at each other, they circled around. You got 2 spears. No, wait, I take that back. I'm sorry. Dolph did get in about 3 super kicks. 2 of them managed to hit. 1 did not. Then he got 2 spears for his trouble and a jackhammer. After the match was over, he's calling out why? Because, simply put, they wanted to make Goldberg look strong and dominant again. So they wanted to have Dolph get annihilated by Goldberg. So Goldberg came back to the ring and pretty much spears him again. Wipes his ass out. Then, after he walks away again, Dolph says, and I'm not quoting, but pretty much says, I don't care how many times you nail me. It don't make a difference. You don't want to fight me. I'm still the best there is. Ain't nobody better. You're nothing but a piece of garbage. And he comes back again, and he spears him another 2 times. Dolph's in my face. Look, he's getting exactly that he deserved. He chose to renegotiate his contract and sign knowing 100% that the WWE does not give good storylines, they don't treat their talent correctly, they don't treat their writers correctly. He chose to stay. So getting his ass handed to him like this, fine. That's what he wants. That's exactly what he deserves. Goldberg, this is what he gets for actually not putting in the effort and making sure that he did a good job with Undertaker. I don't even think they spoke to each other before that damn match happened. And he didn't even act professional coming out to his own theme music, to his own fireworks, and even looking like a fire-breathing dragon like he used to. He just didn't give a damn. He got a payday. So he had to do this damn match to make up for what happened months ago. I didn't care. It was a piece of garbage. Let's move on to the only other match I cared about next to Finn Balor and The Fiend. And this is Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. It should have been the end of the night. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys like Seth Rollins and you guys like Brock Lesnar, fine. But this should have been the end of the night. It should have been. You got the WWE Championship always semi-closing the show. The second to last match. It should have been the last match. You should have put Randy Orton with Kofi Kingston. Their story is the strongest one they have in the company right now. A 11-year story. 11 years. From 2008 when they started out their feud into 2009 and then the feud ended in 2010 almost. That is a long distance story that should have been put as the last match of the night. And was it a good match? Yes, it was. It was a damn good match. I know people are going to say that Kofi was botchy, and he was to a certain extent botchy. Kofi's not perfect. And I know that I think Randy did maybe 1 botch. I can't remember where, but he did at least 1 botch. But Kofi did more than him. I think he did about 2 or 3 botches. But in the end, it didn't take away from the match. It still told a great story. And I know people are angry about the ending because of the double countout, because you got... This is what happened, gentlemen. At the very end of the match, you got Kofi getting thrown out of the ring. You got Randy nailing him very well when he got thrown out into the ring. And as he's grabbing him, he sees Chi-Chi and his sons. And he's staring at them. He's staring at them. Kofi looks up, gets freaking pissed off, and he starts beating the living crap out of him. And the time runs out. They both get a double DQ. And then Kofi basically wails in on a Randy. It's in my face with a kendo stick. He's in my face with a kendo stick. This is what we needed. This is what we needed. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not saying the ending was great. Nobody wants to see a total double countout. They want to see someone have a definitive winner. They didn't want to see a double countout. And I'm sure many people don't. But do you actually want to end this feud that damn quickly like every other feud they do? No. You got one of the most compelling stories. Well, you had two because of what happened with Roman Reigns. We didn't really get any type of confirmation other than Rowan getting mad at Buddy Murphy. We did not see anything other than Daniel Bryan looking on a TV at what Rowan did. But that was the only other feud or story we had that was so compelling. So I'm not 100% happy with the double countout, but I'm glad it happened because the story will continue. Do I believe they're going to make it well? I don't know. I'm hoping they continue building the story to make it even more important, to be something special. Because as it stands right now, it's damn good. I don't want to see them end it so damn quickly. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below how you feel about Kofi and Randy. What about Seth Rollins and pretty much Brock Lesnar? You fine with that? Are you going to disagree with me about Charlotte having the major issue of not being able to adapt to different wrestlers, where in the WWE and even Impact Wrestling, let's be honest, Tessa Blanchard is a better adaptive wrestler. And I say this again, listen to my words. There are good wrestlers, and then there are adaptive wrestlers. There are a stark difference between each other. This is a good wrestler. This is Charlotte. She's a good wrestler. This is an adaptive wrestler who can adjust their style and make the story work with whoever they get in the ring with. Tessa Blanchard can do that. Becky can do that. Bayley can do that. Ember Moon can do that. Sasha can do that. Now, if you don't agree with me, fine. But I'm right. Because every single time you see something, it always has to be someone special that makes Charlotte look good. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.